how I'm tilted in to maintain adaptation? That's the difference. And when you're going around, when you're working, look over here. Do you see here, it looks like I'm not parallel, but I am adapted, right? But when you look from above, do you see how I'm parallel and in line with the tooth, with the long axis of the tooth? I see some people shaking their heads yes. If you can't see it, please speak up. We could try and clarify it as much as we can now. You're okay? So that's the difference. There's adaptation, and then there's parallelism, making sure that everything stays parallel around the long axis of the tooth. So did that clarify between the two a little bit? So when we are probing around, we also have to keep in mind that there's also this contact point between teeth. And we need to make sure we get to the coal area. This area down here, you see how it dips down? We need to make sure we reach that point. We don't want to be too straight where we're not going to get to the point, and we don't want to be too angled where we're going to overshoot it. Neither of these situations would give an accurate reading. We need to make sure that we get to that coal area, and that happens when you're keeping that tip in contact with that contact point, and then tilted at that, what is it, 10-degree tilt, to make sure that we're getting to that area. So let's talk about that stroke. We need to make sure that we're staying subgingivally, right? Because if you remove and come back in, and remove and come back in, that can be too traumatic to the tissue. Once you're in, once you slide that in, you want to make sure you're staying in, and it's very gentle. This is where that exploratory stroke needs to come back. You need to be extremely light. Take your probe. Take your probe.